right, everybody. Hi, and welcome back. Here we are, just a couple of picks later. We told you we would be back on. So Kit Nagy, Phil Nagy joining you here. We'll go in backwards order now. Kit, the Steelers just took Najee Harris, which you and I had talked about. Love that pick for the Steelers for us as the Browns because it's going to be great for us because they still have no offensive line and lots of great players left for Cleveland. Quick thoughts on Najee to the Steelers.
Yeah, no, I do love that for Browns fans. I don't love it for the Steelers. I think the Steelers should be frustrated with that fix or with that pick. Connor is a good running back, and he was stymied all year last year, and that wasn't because of Connor. That was because of offensive line and scheme. And now they did bring in a new offensive coordinator, so we'll see how that affects things with what they do with their running backs. But I like that pick over Etienne. Etienne is more of a dynamic threat weapon that they can, throw some balls and get him out into space. And he's a little more dangerous. So I'm much more comfortable with Najee Harris being a Steeler. And talk about leaving some really talented players on the board. They could have taken one and they don't. Now it's just down to the Jags who are on the clock. 3 minutes 50 left on their clock, so they're kind of using all their time here, or lots of it. So they seem a little bit indecisive as to where they want to go. That although they like speed, obviously with their new head coach out there that we're all familiar with, Urban Meyer. But I half expect them to try to go for something on offense. So is that an Elijah Moore? Is that a Rondale Moore? Is that because they like the mini Percy Harvin? Obviously, the connection between Percy Harvin and Urban Meyer, would have obviously seen what Rondale Moore did to Ohio State.
Yes.
So,
for sure.
Firsthand he did. Yeah. Firsthand knowledge of exactly what that guy is capable of, and I'm sure he's somebody that probably is coveted. So that wouldn't surprise me as a pick.
Absolutely.
But as far as not that I wouldn't love having that guy, but not at this pick. So that leaves just a wealth of talent on the board for Browns fans. What a place to be in. JOK is on the board. You got Ojulari on the board. You got Bateman on the board. I mean, you got Newsome on the board.
Newsome too. Yeah.
I would say right now there are maybe two at most, arguably possibly only one of your these are the guys that we hope might make it off your draft board. Maybe one guy's gone, maybe two.
Yeah,
and I would say those are probably the one. Well, maybe you could make an argument for three, but it may be Quiddy Pay, maybe Farley, depending on what the medical came back on, and then the last guy I would say it would be the guy that we picked up, Jalen Phillips. So, what a position to be in. This is at 26, you would never expect this to be the case, and what patience from AB to be in this position.
For sure. Now, is this the kind of thing where
and picks in now for the Jags? So we'll see.
Kit will break it for us. He's a little ahead of me on his hotel feed.
They're at commercial right now, so it won't happen anytime soon.
Gotcha.
So.
Now, is this a case every time that this happened when I would do a mock, for instance, in the mock simulators, and I was like, oh God, there's 4 guys there that I still really want that I would quickly try to trade back in for 30 or 31 or 33. Something like that. Is that something maybe we see Andrew Berry be aggressive and be like, holy crap, we can actually get Ojulari and Newsome?
Right. Oh, well, it'll be
Rashad Bateman and JOK or something like that.
Well, that's very possible, and I wouldn't count against that. But there's also a possibility that you'll see them trade back in this spot. Because think about the fact they've got kind of like what we did back when we did traded back with Delpit and we picked up Harris out of the deal for free, a free 5th round pick that becomes Nick Harris for us. What a great trade that was. I mean, and knowing that he was still likely to be on the board, so it depends on how they value these guys. Where do they rate them? Who do they think behind them might take some of these guys, and where, if they think they're safe on a guy they really want, they may do that. If they don't, if they're worried that guy may get picked up, they may pick here. It really depends. It's a very interesting position to be in because there's still so much you can do with that, but very just what a position for Browns fans to be in right now.
Absolutely, it is. All right, so Kit is going to talk to us when the Jaguars trade comes in. Minnesota Vikings at 23. They take Darasol, the kind of the third tackle off the board. Of course, the fourth tackle actually taken, but the third tackle kind of on everybody's drafts boards after Sewell and Slater. So good pick for them. Solid pick.
Absolutely.
Continue to block for Kirk Cousins, and of course Dalvin Cook as well. And then 22, the Titans, Caleb Farley. We had talked about this as maybe one of those guys that if the medicals checked out, the Browns would be excited about at 26. He goes to Vrabes at 22. What are your thoughts about Caleb Farley, Kit?
Yeah, as Goodell is about to take the stage here, so
Okay.
I'll be monitoring this. But Farley, obviously, they thought highly enough about his medical that they thought they would take that risk. He's clearly a top 10 type guy. It's actually he's going to pick from the chair, reminiscent of last year, rather than the fan sitting there. So we'll see who the Jags take here. Should get this in just a moment. Etienne goes to the Jags in a very Urban Meyer pick. With good pick for them. He's a good player, but out of Clemson, okay. I mean, talk about Browns being set up for huge success. Travis Etienne going to the Jaguars. Wow. What a position. What a time to be a Browns fan. Browns on the clock.
Oh, my gosh.
On the clock.
Newsome, Ojulari, Bateman, Moore, Barmore, if that's really what you want. If you're in the D tackle camp, he's still the best D tackle is still there.
He's a reach.
I know he is, but I'm saying that he's still there in terms of the pundits. So this is an incredible opportunity here.
Right, and you've got the pick of the litter. You pick your position. You pick your guy. I mean, you've got every position represented that you could have targeted with this pick. Your edge rusher is there. Your cornerback is there. Your wide receiver is there. I mean, and JOK. I mean, so you got your traits guy. So yeah, there is no wrong pick here. I don't think any one of those guys that we've mentioned. I mean, I think they will very much be in that pool. I doubt them to do anything surprising here as far as the names that we've mentioned. I very much expect this to be a one of those guys, and just so many of them. It's they've got a clear number of guys that are going to be on there or should be on their board, and I expect that to be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. How about Urban Meyer going Clemson? Hey, I couldn't beat them, so I'll just get their players.
That's right. Very interesting. Very Urban Meyer, though. I mean, that's a very fitting, and he likes speed. He likes the dynamic, can do more than one thing type players, which Etienne very much is. And I think he felt, with Najee Harris coming off the board, that this was his chance to strike. Happened to be in the right spot right afterwards. So, first running back goes. That's an easy way to set something like that up to happen. So.
Come on, Andrew. What a win. Andrew Berry, I trust.
What a win for us, though.
I feel like I like the trade down. Like
this is a great spot. This is a great spot for it.
Go back 3 spots, pick up something, pick up another asset, and still get the guy that you wanted, or one of the 4 guys that you wanted.
Nope, but they do pick. The pick is in.
Oh, here we go.
The pick is in. They are going to pick at 26. No trades. Here it comes. So excited. So what a position to be in. The Browns are just obviously they have their guy, and they're not going to let that guy get past them, because whoever that is, whatever the names ends up being, they are sold on that name, because they are picking right now. And what patience! I mean, because there are many regimes of Browns past that would have felt obligated to trade up, trade back, but feel like there's a run on edge or run on corner or whatever it is, and but no,
God, they brought Pumpkinhead up.
They did.
Oh, that sucks. God damn it! I hate that guy.
There are better choices for Browns fans, unfortunately, that are not there.
Unbelievable. Dude, I don't know. What do you think?
I have to think.
JOK,
You have to
Newsom, Ojulari?
You got to give. I think it's between probably JOK and Newsom. My best guess right here. Man, I don't know. I don't know. Very excited to find out. I don't think you can go wrong here. I don't think the Browns could possibly go wrong here. Anybody they pick in this spot, I feel like is a win.
Come on.
Here we go. He's on the stage talking to Pumpkinhead.
Woof.
The pick will be coming shortly.
I can tell you who Twitter thinks it is.
Who's JOK, I'm assuming, right?
No, Newsom.
Oh, interesting.
Twitter's
I wouldn't have guessed.
The new, not Ozzy. Not Ozzy Newsom. A new Newsom in town.
The new Newsom. That would be pretty cool. And I would be very happy with that pick. I could be, yeah. I would be very, very happy with that pick.
Gosh, if JOK goes another couple. Now, does he fit the Ravens? Ravens have 2 of the next 5, right?
Yeah, they do. And
does he fit their scheme?
He would be scary.
They just took
Malik and
Queen last year.
Yeah, and they are weak at safety, arguably, so they could very well snatch him up, and that would be a scary thing.
Be unfortunate.
Greg Newsom II.
There we go.
Let's go. I love that pick. That is awesome. That is just a great pick for these Browns. Greg Newsom is a fabulous player. It is absolutely greedy insurance, like we've talked about, which is something that you want in this defense. You can't have enough good corners. He is an excellent corner. This is the pick that many had willed to the Browns, Dane Brugler included, who you have to respect his take and his thoughts on guys. He calls Greg Newsom a route magnet, and running the routes for the wide receiver. That's high praise for a cover corner, lockdown corner opposite Denzel. And what a great pick. This is
Man, talk about revamp. We all said, awesome. Don't worry, Andrew Berry is going to revamp the defense this offseason, and sure enough, golly,
here it is. Here it is. And this is a future. Now think about what your quarterback room consists of. You've got Greedy Williams, who if he can come back fully healthy this season, next season, there's no real pressure necessarily. You've got Greg Newsom opposite Denzel Ward, and then have a competition potentially to see who starts. And now, regardless of you've got Greedy out hurt, you've got Denzel out hurt, you've got a third guy that you can plug in that can play to that level. If he develops the way we expect he can, he's a plug and play type guy right now. That's very, very good pick for these Browns. And one of the things that I think is really encouraging about this pick is he played a lot of zone and was exceptionally good in that cover 3 zone, which the Browns do a lot of. Yeah. And that's something that I obviously the Browns liked on his tape, that he was so good in that zone and the man, that hybrid between the two. And that cover 3 look that Northwestern likes to run, which is very similar to what the Browns throw out there. So great pick for these Browns. And now we'll see what Baltimore does with JOK still on the board, which is kind of scary in its own right.
Absolutely. Yeah. They just threw up his measurables, 6 foot 192.
Yeah, his biggest knock really had been just he has a little bit of a tendency, much like Denzel, for that soft tissue injury, where held him out for a game or two every season. But yeah, so you could argue, well, are you adding an injury prone guy to an already injury prone cornerback room? But
more bodies is better than less bodies.
Exactly, especially if they're virtually plug and play. And to me, so really, what are we going from? We're going from Mitchell, who was a serviceable starter. Don't get me wrong. Sure. Money Mitch is a very good player, but he's not a guy that you would select, in the first round, in this draft if he were at his level, to be your starter. Right. He's certainly not a first round corner that you're picking up. And now you're basically, because many would argue that Greedy has the talents to be a first round corner. It wasn't picked up in the first round, and we got a steal for him in the second. But Greedy, first round potential talent. You've got now a new first round talented cornerback, and then obviously, with the number 4 overall that we just signed to the 5th-year extension in Denzel Ward, who has proven his talent. Effectively, you've now got a cornerback room, injuries aside, you've got 3 guys that are all capable of that level of performance and have shown, that they can do that. And now you've got a rotation of those guys, and that is a big insurance policy to have, because now you're not really losing anything expecting Money Mitch to have to start opposite Denzel Ward the whole year. Now if it's Newsome the whole year, great. If it's Greedy the whole year, great. I mean, there's really there shouldn't be any discernible, assuming he can fully come back from that injury and is the same player. There shouldn't be any hugely discernible difference between those two in terms of quality reps and what they can provide this defense.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Seen a lot of good things on him. Jake Trotter just tweeted that Newsome allows an opposing QBR of 3.4.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane the quality of his coverage.
He's 4.38. I didn't realize he was quite that fast too.
Oh, he's very, very fast. The only thing, other than the injury, the only thing that I mentioned earlier, there is a knock that he doesn't come away with the interceptions as often as you might want him to. I don't care. I mean, yes, you'd love to have the interception, but a batted down ball is still very valuable in a defense that is going to rely on those press man corners, and then when they're in the zone, having that feel for where the ball is, and he's very good with his eyes, reads routes incredibly well, and is he's so able to attack the catch point with the best of them, and he's so good. I'm so excited about that pick. Pick is in for the Ravens, so we'll see what happens here. They're going to pick here right behind us.
Maybe Bateman here.
Yeah, they're showing best available: Moore, Barmore, JOK, Morig, and Jenkins, according to Kuiper.
Oh yeah, Morig. Everybody thought Morig was going to go in the teens.
Yeah, they did. I'm not surprised to see him slip. I mean, safeties, it's hard to justify a true safety as a first-round pick. It's hard to do that just because of the positional value, even though in our defense they're especially valuable. But when you can have a guy that's more of a hybrid linebacker style, maybe you go for him in a JOK. But certainly an interesting list of folks still available on the board. A lot of talent that got pushed down in this draft.
They need a receiver, or at least they keep saying that they need a receiver. They may need a quarterback, but
yes, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if they go with a wide receiver here, like a Elijah Moore, possibly a Bateman. Pick is Bateman. Rashad Bateman to the Ravens. That's a good, solid wide receiver for the future for that team. I don't like that for Bateman in terms of I don't think that's a good offense for him. But in terms of they wanted wide receivers that could be that number 1 guy on the outside, Bateman's a great wide receiver for that role.
Yeah.
I don't know that the offense is really going to highlight him in the way that he could be special on other teams.
Absolutely.
So, as far as who they could have picked off the board, I mean, I would have loved to have Bateman for the Browns. I'd loved to have Bateman for the Browns, and that's an offense that certainly could have, taken advantage of what he can give to your team. But as far as Ravens picks for Browns concerned, I think that's a good pick for us, because you have to be able to get the ball to a wide receiver like this. Now, he does have an incredible incredible catch radius, which is going to improve, some of those less accurate throws.
Right.
So that will make Lamar look a little bit better with his throws, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yes, it will.
And he will get open. I mean, he will get open on teams, because he's got some really crafty route running.
But will he get open on Denzel, JJ3, Troy
Hill,
Greg
Doubt
Newsome, Greedy Williams, Grant Delpit, and Ronnie Harrison in your base defense?
Yeah. Pick is in already for the Saints, so obviously the Saints are running to the podium on this one. That was quick. They must be after somebody that they think has dropped way too far. My guess is JOK. But what are the Saints actually looking for? A corner.
Well, they had a bunch of stuff they couldn't. I mean, they had a bunch of dudes they couldn't pay.
Yeah, so their needs are so widespread. It could be anything here.
Their biggest need is quarterback. They're not going to take Kyle Trask, I don't think.
No, there's zero chance of that. Or I suppose I shouldn't say zero. It could happen.
Fine. Kamara is fine. Mike Thomas, they have decent weapons. I suppose they could take an Elijah Moore. I don't know if Emmanuel Sanders. They could take JOK, I suppose.
That would be, I mean, just with how quickly it went in, you have to think it's got to be some kind of traits guy they feel has dropped. Because there was no debate on that.
I guess Andrew's already doing a presser. Smart, tough, fits our profile, accountable. And Newsome is one of the youngest players in the draft. He does love young guys.
Yes, he does. You can't blame him either, because especially if you can keep those young guys healthy, you can build a team for a long time around young players. Especially if you can coach them up the right way and they fit that mold where they're gonna really work hard. And I mean, because they talk about how much work that they're gonna put into. That's how we were so successful last year. It wasn't just roster, but it was culture. It was a dedication to the work, to do what needed to be done to get yourself to the level to be successful. And that takes a certain type of person, and you got to be willing to do that. And that's why that mold is so important. That's why I don't see, a lot of folks love the talent of the corner out of Kentucky, Kelvin Joseph, and I just, like I mentioned before, I just don't see it. I could never see the Browns taking him. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I very much can see the Browns taking another corner in this draft. Very much. Absolutely. They could go corner in this draft. I mean, absolutely. I would not be surprised to see Darius
Campbell or Darius Washington. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's more of a safety. Sorry. I meant the other Molden. The other.
Oh, Molden. Right.
Yeah. I could see him. I could see, Stokes, Campbell. I mean, there are so many guys still. Right. St. Just out of Minnesota could be a guy they could target. I mean, there's a lot of folks they may look even as a developmental.
Even a Sean Wade on day 3.
Oh, absolutely. I would not rule that out at all, especially because they could throw him in the slot all day. I mean, because he's one of the best in terms of short area quickness. He fizzled out a little bit on the outside, but he doesn't mean he's any less special as an athlete. And he still showed that on his pro day.
Absolutely. All right. Well, We appreciate everybody being on. Just a couple people watching this time, which is fine. So we will get our reaction to the rest of the draft here another night. We'll let you hardworking fans go to bed. But the Browns had Greg Newsome, which is awesome. We've talked about that. Again, not that they really had a position of need, but if they had one, it's because Denzel, I don't think, has played all 16 games. Greedy certainly hasn't. Troy Hill's been durable, but then you got like MJ Stewart and like Brian Allen right after that. So
Yep.
definitely building depth. And as Andrew Bray says, this pick is about making the Browns better later too. And a player like this could, potentially pair with one of your other young corners for a while as well. So
For sure.
Again, we appreciate everybody being on here. We're going to sign out for the evening, but maybe we'll do another one over the course of the weekend, just as kind of reaction to all the Browns picks. But you guys have been awesome, so we'll get out here the way we always do by saying, Go
Browns!